Good day, everyone. For this video, we're going to perform the lab activity number 10 for the last activity under solenoid valves. So, let's start. So, click the solenoid valves module, then proceed to the activity number 4 or the last activity under solenoid valves module, which is entitled Holding Pneumatic Cylinder. But before we click the play button, this activity is just an extension for the last activity that I did, which is the single acting cylinder. The difference between these activities, this activity number 4, we'll be adding a holding contacts. So, we'll click now the play button of the activity number 4. So, let's proceed to the diagram here. And let's explain the functionality of this. So, what we can see here is quite similar for the previous activity that I did. However, we have a holding contact here, this one. Then, if you have a holding contact, we have the stop button, which is the PB1, this one. Then, we have also the source lamp, which is the PL1. Then, we have a PL2. Then, we have a PL3 for this particular activity. So, let's wire this one and let's try to simulate this one in order to see how it works. So, let's start wiring from 24 volts to the input of PL1. So, positive to the input of PL1. Next, output of PL1 to the 0 volts or negative part of the power supply. Next, the input of PB1 can be connected either input of PL1 or 24 volts. But to make it easier for us, we can connect it to the 24 volts. Positive to the input of PB1. Next, the output of PB1 connect it to the input of PB2. So, output of PB1 connect it to the input of PB2. So, next, the output of PB2 to the 13 of R1. Next, 14 of R1 can be connected either output of L1 or 0 volts or negative part of the power supply. But to make it easier for us, we can connect it to the 0 volts or negative part of the power supply. So we are done in the second rung. The third rung, holding contacts. So 9 of R1 can be connected either output of PB1 or input of PB2. But to make it easier for us, we can connect it directly to the input of PB2. So 9 of R1 connected directly to the input of PB2. So next, the 5 of R1 connect it to the output of PB2. So 5 of R1 connect it to the output of PB2. So we're done the holding contacts. So solenoid K1. So positive of K1 can be connected either 13 of R1 or output of PB2. But to make it easier for us, we can connect it to the output of PB2. So positive to the output of PB2. So negative of K1 can be connected either 14 of R1, output of L1 or 0 volts or negative part of the power supply. And for this moment, we can connect it to the 14 of R1. So we are done in the third rung. So in the fourth rung, 10 of R1 can be connected either input of PB1, input of L1 or 24 volts. But to make it easier for us, we can connect it directly to the input of PB1. So 10 input of PB1. So next. So 2 of R1, connect it to the input of PL2. So 2 of R1 directly connected to the input of PL2. So output of PL2 can be connected either negative of K1, 14 of R1, or output of PL1 or 0 volts or negative part of the power supply. But to make it easier for us, we can connect it to the output of PL1. So output of PL2 to the output of PL1. So we are done in our fourth rank. So fifth rank, the last rank. So 10 of R1 we are already connected. So we're only connect the 6 of R1. So 6 of R1, connect it to the input of PL3. So 6 of R1 to the input of PL3. So output of PL3 can be connected either output of PL2, negative of K1, 14 of R1, or output of PL1 or 0 volts. But to make it easier for us, we can connect it to the output of PL2. So output of PL3, so output of PL3, connect it to the output of PL2. So we are done wiring. So we will click now the submit button. So pass means our connection of wires are correct. So we'll click now the PB2. So as a result, the pneumatic cylinder extend, then the PL2 is now turned on. Then if we're going to release this PB2, so as a result, the pneumatic cylinder remain its extend position, then the PL2 remain turned on. Then if we want to stop this one, we'll click this PB1. So we'll click now the PB1. So as a result, the pneumatic cylinder go back to its stock position, then the PL2 is now turned off, then the PL1 is now turned on. So we will do it again. So press the PB2. So press the PB2. So as a result, the pneumatic cylinder extend, then the PL2 is now turned on, then we're going to release this PB2, so the pneumatic cylinder remain extend position, then the PL2 remain turned on. Then if we want to stop this, press this PB1. Then as a result, the pneumatic cylinder back to its stock position, then the PL2 is now turned off, then the PL1 is now turned on. So that's it. Thank you for watching and God bless.